Let's start talking about the Hollywood Fringe Festival Scholarship Program because I've talked long enough. I am your programs manager. I'm also actually a past scholarship winner, which is the reason that I started working for the Hollywood Fringe, because it is such a wonderful experience. So I'm really excited to be sharing this program as it's very dear to my heart. Now, if we don't mind, I'd love to bring our panelists up and introduce our amazing panelists. And I'm just going to go off of the order that I see here. Les, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself first?
Hi, my name is Les Kirkendall Barrett, and I have been involved in Hollywood Fringe in some way, shape, or form since the beginning. And I've been a member of the scholarship committee since that started as well. And I am a solo artist who I've been touring fringes since 2000. I primarily make my living from doing fringes. And so I'm looking forward to sharing stuff with you today.
All right. And Matthew, you're the next person on my screen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Matthew Robinson, pronouns he, him, and African-American man wearing a yellow shirt with dreadlocks. I've been involved with Hollywood Fringe since 2016, and I've been on the scholarship committee since 2017. And I've loved working with everyone, and I've written, directed, and produced several shows with the Fringe. Most recently, I helped produce Toughest Man in Chicago, and I helped mentor Made in America. And the last play that I wrote and produced was Olivia Wilde Does Not Survive the Apocalypse in 2019. So I love this panel. I love the people who've been on it, and I always love seeing the scholarship winners. So I'm super excited to help you guys with this process. I shouldn't say guys. I say guys in a gender neutral term, but I had to kind of take that from my vocabulary. I'm happy to help all you folks with this process. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. And Natasha.
Hi, everyone. My name is Natasha Lewin. I am a light-skinned woman with bleach blonde hair, a green hat, and a light-colored sweater. I also am a diversity scholarship past winner from 2017. I have been a mentor since 2018, the year after. Last year, my mentee, I've been a mentor since then. My mentee won Best Comedy at the Fringe, so I'm very proud of her. And like Matthew, like everyone here, I'm really excited to hear everyone's questions, help you guys same with Matthew, help everyone get the information that they need, any questions you might have, and read everyone's entries. Thanks for being here. It's very exciting.
And last but not least, we have Chris Farah.
Hi there. I'm Christine Farah. She and her are my pronouns. I didn't realize that like Natasha and I are both kind of the same. Light-skinned ladies with bleach blonde hair. Honey, I have horrible roots they're getting done. And we're both wearing like oatmeal, kind of like sweatery Christmas sweaters. You know, we're very cozy. I originally did my first show at the Hollywood Fringe in 2014. I did a character show I'm a bio queen character based upon the show song Fancy by Bobby Gentry and made famous by Reba McEntire. And then in 2015, I brought that character back and won Best Cabaret and Variety, which was awesome. And you know, like it's interesting because I got to do a one-person show, but I got to kind of go behind the guise of a huge character. And so it was fun to do fringe events as that and like do marketing. It was easy to do when you had like a big thing to hide behind. So, you know, anyway, I know the difference between the 2 years and what that made for me too. So I can kind of speak to something like the second year of Fringe can even be more successful than your first year. So anyway, having said all that, I'm so happy to be on this panel. Les and I got to sort of be on the beginning stages of this scholarship program with an outreach director named Megan at the time. So we've been doing this for a second, and I always love talking to people, and I'm very open. So please get at me if you would like. I'm Chris L. Farah on Instagram and Twitter, or, you know, whatever. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's Les. You know what? I realized I forgot to do the description thing. So I am African American. Right now, I'm wearing glasses, a knit cap, and a white Christmassy sweater.
Thank you, Les. Les was actually my mentor when I was a scholarship winner. So it's just a big, happy family that just always seems to make full circle somehow. And, I know from my experience working with the current scholarship winners and also being in a cohorts of previous scholarship winners, the scholarship winners end up, they're friends and they network together and they work together after Fringe. It's such a wonderful program. So this year, I'm going to kind of detail what the program is going to entail because it is different. Normally, in the past, there was a stipend that was given to all of our scholarship winners to allow them to rent out one of the many, many theaters in the Hollywood Fringe Festival. But this year, we are actually getting an entire 2-theater venue that we are going to give a full 3-performance run for the entirety of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. That's going to be June 1st through June 24th. You'll get 1.5 hours of tech time the weekend of May 26th through the 28th, and it includes your own theater technician who's going to help you with all of your lights and sounds that your show may need. If the producer of the show wishes to add more, they may reserve time, extra time for more tech or dress rehearsals at a discounted rate. So it's a really, really great deal. The lighting technical elements are encouraged to be pretty light. That is just kind of the case with the Hollywood Fringe Festival in general. It's not a time to put on, your Broadway dream rendition of a show. It's a place to experiment and work with fringe theater. And a lot of the Hollywood Fringe Festival and every fringe festival in the world at that is a place where you can kind of springboard your ideas and concepts and see them come to life. The Hollywood Fringe Festival Scholarship Program also allows for marketing and network opportunities. As a member of the Fringe community, you get, we'll put email blasts to promote all of our Fringe people, Fringe scholarship winners. You'll get a Fringe mentor, as we discussed before. Many of the people on this panel, if not all, I think everybody here has been a mentor at some point in time, which, in my own personal experience was invaluable, even if it's just to be like, I'm frustrated and I'm scared. The requirements for the scholarship program are that you must attend the following events of the scholarship program. So there's going to be an onboarding that happens in February. There's a special office hours in May for scholarship winners to come, and we're going to mingle, talk, network with each other. We encourage you to come to all of the office hours because it is how you make those connections to have a great show. And then we have a Fringe scholarship cabaret in either May or June. We haven't decided quite yet when that's going to be, but by the time that winners are announced, we will have that date nailed down, and it'll be one day you come through and you do this excerpt of your show and sort of preview it to the Fringe community. It's one of our most attended and popular pre-festival events. So it's a great time. So those are required to be at. All scholarship recipients will be required to self-produce their show and be held responsible and liable for the risks associated with their own project. So other than the venue, marketing costs, hiring actors, all of that stuff is on you, but the venue is a huge part of your expenses in doing the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And so it's a major benefit. And I mean, you could just use social media. You don't have to go pay a publicist unless you want to help with the other stuff. The other thing I'll briefly talk about, and it's we'll get a little bit more into it in the panel, but the scholarship application program is for first-time Fringe producers. So if you've already produced at Fringe, you're not applicable to be a scholarship winner. It is also designated for artists who are BIPOC and contribute to the ethnic, cultural, racial, disability, D, deaf, and intersectional LGBTQIA+ diversity of Fringe. And so what that means is that we're looking for people who are BIPOC, double API, and contribute to the ethnic, cultural diversity within our festival. So if you are a white person, Feel free to apply. We welcome you to apply. We do want to receive your applications, but priority is given to artists who come from those backgrounds. And then without further ado, we can go ahead and ask our panelists our first question. And the first question is, in your own words, what is the Hollywood Fringe Scholarship Program? And tell us about its history and why you love it. Les, or we can popcorn it around however we want to do this today.
I could go. So the question was, what was the scholarship program means? What does it mean to me? For me, honestly, what I love about the scholarship program is it gives people who normally would not be able to afford Fringe, because this Fringe does get very expensive. It gives you a chance to perform and to participate. And the fact that this year you're getting a venue with dates is huge, like huge. Because in my experience over the past years, even when people did get the scholarship, they still ended up having to provide money on their own. And so the fact that you're getting a venue, a guaranteed venue and guaranteed dates, take full advantage of that. And I do love the fact that it definitely gives BIPOC people a chance to actually come out and show what you got, because it's, I'm going to be honest, the Fringe for many years did tend to skew like 99% white. And I mean by that, a lot of times it would probably be me and 4 other people of color in the entire festival of over, 400 shows. And so I love the fact that it's just creating opportunities for people. And to date, when it comes to the scholarship shows, I've not seen a clunker in the bunch, and I've seen like these amazing shows that otherwise would not have the opportunity to make it to the stage. So that's why I love the scholarship program.
I've also never seen a bad scholarship show. They're just so good. And I think for this conversation, we can just, pocket around. There's no need to go into order.
I'm going to speak on that because, yes, we have a beautiful, uncurated Fringe festival, right? As well as we are in this diverse, rich city, which is, of course, Los Angeles. And so the scholarship program gets to serve not only the community that wants to hear stories that they either relate to, and there's many different people here, but also like the beautiful artists that are here that might need some support to like dive into this thing that can be overwhelming and scary. So in that, we create this program where we give them the support, and then it kind of also becomes the curated part of the festival, because there's a scholarship program. We got to read applications, but anyone else can apply. So then when we not only get beautiful stories, and we hopefully will get artists that get to develop their skills, but we get stories that bring in new audience, and they're great shows. It's like such a win-win. It's a very special program, and it's awesome.
Yeah, being a diversity scholarship winner myself in the past, I have to say that not only has the community of Fringe and everyone that I've met been super supportive, but it allowed me to speak on what I've experienced in my life and my own storytelling. And storytelling is the greatest way for people to, obviously, if you look at what's going on in the world, understand other people's perspective, other people's lives. And it was really lacking, to speak on what Les was saying. I was just involved starting 2017 when I won the scholarship, but I have been actively involved every year since. But I had even seen it in 2017 that it was skewing a way that, I don't feel that stories were being seen and heard. And now flash forward to 4 years later, coming up on or 5 years later, coming up in 2023, the storytelling has just exponentially grown for people who haven't had that outlet or haven't had that ability to speak on their own experiences, speak on things that, you know, are common in different ethnicities, races, religions, etc. And it's just so invaluable to hear those stories, to see those stories, to be a part of those stories. So it's really an honor, and it's something I very much am so proud of, and I wear it very close to my heart on my sleeve. And I'm just so happy that you all are here to possibly be a part of that and learn more, because Fringe is just so welcoming, and it's just grown every year with BIPOC storytelling.
Yeah, just building off of everything that people have said here, I've been a mentor since 2017, and that is such a good point, that this is really the kind of the curated section of our festival. I've never looked at it that way, but it is true. And you know, I think there's sometimes a negative connotation with diversity, scholarship, productions, that they aren't good enough to be a part of something or a workforce or whatever. And if they got in because of you know, certain numbers had to be hit or a quote had to be hit, and that is, you know, so far from the truth. And what happens with the Hollywood Fringe is that we get these wonderful plays that people go to. These plays sell out. These plays get award. This is not me. I promise it's not me patting this up on the back. This was all Taruko's work. But my mentee last year won Best Solo Show. And that was such a proud moment for me and for our panel and our scholarship program, because she worked very, very hard to put that together, but she just didn't have the money at the time to really get it going. So this is a program to help people who are having some financial difficulties. It has nothing to do with the content of the program. We want strong shows that have something to say, whether that's in a funny way, like Taruko's show, or in a much more serious way, like many other great shows have come by and done. So this is a really, really exciting program, and I love talking to people about it, because I think personally, a lot of people who come and apply for this, even when they don't get the scholarship, the work and the thinking that they've had to do to apply for it usually is enough of a motivator to be like, you know what, I'm going to find a way to make this happen one way or the other. And a lot of shows that we've seen that have either gotten this or not have still gone on to have very, very successful runs in the Fringe. So I wanted to just highlight that and say that this is a show that's a part of the community. It's not its own special asterisk, and people respond to it in kind.
And I just want to say one more thing real quick. Regardless of the financial, I mean, the financial is absolutely incredible that Fringe does this, but it's about being seen. It's about, you know, people being able to have this platform to speak. And, you know, it's hard for me to toot my own horn, but, you know, the Fringe really does that with this diversity scholarship. You have your own page on, you know, in the book. People see that you're a part of something that had won an award. And for me personally, I got funding to make my play into a short film. It was an Academy Award qualifying film in 2020, and now I got picked up by a literary agency that is making it into a young adult graphic novel. So we've made many iterations of what was a Fringe Diversity Scholarship play, and now it's really launch-padded my career into work in television, film, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't start at the Hollywood Fringe with this diversity scholarship.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Natasha. Yeah, it's just a really great program, you know, and I echo what everyone else here has said. And I think the point is, you know, giving people who haven't had a voice in the past the voice that they've always had. I think that's something to remember, right? Is that we BIPOC and you know, AAPI artists, we have wonderful, amazing voices, and it's not that they're not there. It's just that there's no always an opportunity to make it happen, and so this is that opportunity, and it really allows you to challenge yourself, because the Fringe festivals are not easy. You know, they're marathons, and so it pushes us and allows us to develop our voices. The next question I'd like to ask our panel is, what kind of shows are you looking for? And, we're talking the genre or a category of a show, their impact and the intention of the show, authenticity, community, whatever you're looking for inside of a show. What makes a successful application for you in that regard?
I'm doing it. Okay, so I don't care about the style. I don't care about the genre at all. I completely care that you are passionate about something and you are into it and you are excited about it. And it doesn't have to be 100% like thought out, but it has to be, and you can feel it when it's like an inspired something that has to be told. And there is an element definitely of authenticity and also of specificity. Why is a story being told, and why does it have to be told, and why are you the perfect person to do it? Now, of course, those three things are like any also like pitchy Hollywood thing. Like if you ever sell a script or whatever, like those are all the things that you have to do as well, by the way. But that it's kind of like, I mean, this is one of the reasons why this application process is great for you as an artist, regardless of the outcome of this fringe or whatever. It's about being able to crystallize a project that you want to do for yourself as much as it is for us to read it. The writing of it, making yourself sit down and think about why and how a little bit is actually better for you than whatever it's going to happen at the end of the day for this specific process. But having said that, I want to feel a certain amount of inspired direction that makes me trust and be excited about the possibility of seeing this story. And that could be in any inventive way. And the fringier, the better. Thank you.
And I agree with Chris. I agree with Chris 100%. A well thought out idea. And it doesn't necessarily, like the script, it doesn't necessarily have to be finished yet, as long as the complete idea is there. And in the past, I know we've had some scholarship winners in the past who they were like, my show isn't finished yet, but this is what I'm going to do, and give us a detailed description about what they're going to do. And the description alone has sold it to us. So I'm looking for that. I'm also, when it comes to filling out your scholarship application, I am looking out for a well thought out application where you've taken your time, you filled out everything. And once again, even if you don't have an answer, give us something, because there's so many applications, because we go through a lot of applications, and you'd be surprised how many times people will not answer questions or say, I don't know, which, spoiler alert, don't say I don't know. And here's a tip: we don't know what's going on in your head. So it's better to give us a proposed idea than to say I don't know. But yeah, it's and I'm also looking for things too that I haven't seen before, or it could be a common story, but as a person of color, or as a person who's with a disability, et cetera, it could be a common theme, but your take as a person is going to have a different spin on it just because you are you. So I'm looking for stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I think Les and Chris definitely did a good job, great job explaining what we're looking at, because we get a lot of applications, and what really stands out to us is the passion, and also the organization, as well as, really being, even if it's not completed, but kind of fleshed out in your thought process. Again, we don't understand, to reiterate what Les just said, we don't know what you're thinking. We can't read your mind. So the more that we have to go on from what you see from the page to the theater to the black box will be super helpful for us. So passion, description, and, originality, even if it, like you said, every story had been done before, we've seen it in some sort of fashion, but what do you bring to the table? What is different about it? For me personally, something that I know that I really want to see, so I am born hard of hearing, movement is very important for me. I would love to see more movement in shows. I would love to see more deaf, hard of hearing in shows. That really sticks out to me. But that's me personally. I also really love musicals, one-person musicals to very, very big musicals. Movement is something that I just really get a lot of, because you can be in that black box and just really feel the passion and intensity. But I love all sorts of genres.
Yeah, I think for me, what I'm looking for is why now and why you? Why is this perspective so important? And why now? Why this year do you feel you is the time for you to put on a Hollywood Fringe show? And it's not more than just like, well, I think it's politically relevant or socially relevant. What it also means is, have you taken the time? Have you thought this through? I can tell you personally, the applications I pay the least attention to are the ones that they felt like they didn't put any effort into it. I'm taking my time to read your application, check for typos, check for sloppy writing, try to articulate your idea best as possible. I'm not necessarily looking for elegance, but I'm looking for that you put some effort into this. If I feel like you haven't put effort into this application, I'm probably going to think they're not going to put effort into the production. The more you've thought it out, the more you've thought it through, even if you don't know all the answers yet to what your show is going to be, the more you try to communicate to me what that show is and why it's so important for you to put it on, the more likely I am to have a favorable view of it. And I think another thing to think about with these productions is there's several kind of aspects to it. Why do you need this scholarship boost to make your show? Shows that feel like they already have enough of the resources and enough of everything to put it together, and they just kind of want to do this so they can have a little bit more spending money. Those are not the shows we're necessarily going to lean towards. We want shows that this scholarship will make a significant difference in their production, and not just something that makes their lives a little bit, oh, nice, I have a little bit extra. So just keep that in mind. I don't want you to lie, obviously. Please be honest, but be honest with a lot of passion, and that will go a long, long way.
Yeah, thank you.
Also,
Natasha?
one more quick thing. Something we also look at is you can put in links of your previous work, or if you've been working on this project. That really helps us. It really helps us. Words are very great, obviously. We're all creators, but being able to see past works of yours, if you have any kind of links, any kind of thing that we can look at, really helps us. We all watch it together. It's very helpful. So I really recommend that.
Yeah. We're kind of leading into this next question that I want to talk about. And, I think it's worth going into more detail about like the detail of these applications, right? As I'm a member of the staff of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. I don't have any say in what scholarship applications are moved on to become scholarship winners. But I do sit down and, we have dinner and they talk about them, and then they tell us these ones, and then we go, okay, cool, we're going to send emails, and one thing that I've noticed just by being with them is that some of them are they don't tell details. They're saying, I don't know. They are being very generic inside of their answers about like what their show is about or the impact that it's going to have. So can we talk a little bit about, I think, how do you show up with that passion? Because it can be intimidating and hard. And, I would even say you're being vulnerable when you're sharing this application, because we are asking for you to share, your babies with us and something that's dear to you. So can we talk a little bit about detail, thoughtfulness, images, descriptions?
First of all, do not, and I mean, do not try to game the system, because we will catch you. Every year, there's one show that ends up, or two sometimes, that end up getting replaced with the alternate list because someone has tried to game the system and we catch it. So just don't even think about it. But literally, I think for me personally, just literally taking the time to just go, okay, I would rather read too much than read too little. So if you think you're talking too much, I would rather you talk too much and overwrite and oversell it than undersell it. And literally sometimes some of the subjects that sound kind of basic, once you read the description, it's kind of like, ooh, I want to see this. So just, I would say, answer every question over, like, write and give fleshed out answers for every question. Leave no stone unturned. And, you know, I would say 99.9% of what we end up picking is because of the description itself and the person getting into what they want to do and what their concepts are, and just explaining to us what their concepts are. You know, so sometimes we do get these shows that are like, just, you know, like, how do I put it? Like, just jaw dropping, and from the get-go, we see that. But there are the majority of the stuff that ends up getting picked is literally from the description and the way that the person just really sells themselves. So sell yourself.
There was, I mean, even I think on my application, you know, we talked about saying, I don't know. And one of the questions I actually didn't know how to answer, because my show is about being mixed. And I'm like, I don't really know who the show is for. And I wrote like probably 4 paragraphs about like why I have no clue. And because I took that extra time to be like, I'm working this out, and hopefully it shows up in my show, but it might not, it might, who knows? And I still got through. So it's about taking that time to, if you don't know, unpack why you don't know and explain that, you know, because it's better than nothing.
And just to speak on Les, there was a question that someone was asking about what it means to game the system. You've been around a lot longer than myself, but at least from what I've seen when it comes to gaining the system is someone putting tokenism in there. Tokenism, just to add BIPOC characters or add characters in, felt very ancillary, very tacked on. People who said that their production was completed or that they would be ready, and then not having a completed product, not being ready at all. Just trying, you know, saying that you're more advanced, I guess, in your production of the project really has, you know, not helped because it comes really fast once you get the award. Then, you know, you've got to really get your cast going. We've had people who were definitely not ready, but maybe Les can speak more on, you know, what he's seen.
Oh, can I say one thing? One thing that's really annoying is when you're like, we're going to be diverse because we're going to cast diverse people. Oh, are you? But that's like, that happens at the, oh, you're just gonna make sure that what 1 or 2 people just, like, that's where it's like, are you just doing a sketch comedy show and you're applying for this because you're going to cast people, but you're you guys, the producers, you're, you know, Lily White, honey. I don't know what I'm going to say, like, just from Kansas. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't mean to be like, there's a lot of people, and I talk fast, so sorry about the interpreters. But there is just a way that I want you to intrinsically know in your heart why this is for you and why your show is for this. And I want to feel that authenticity too. And also, I love you guys so much. I thought, Les, you were saying gaming the system, and I realized now you meant gaining.
No,
Okay.
game. No, I did mean game.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's gaming,
I did mean
right?
game.
Yeah, like
And-
DVD.
Yeah. And so one of the ways that people try to game the system the most is by saying,
It's in the
"Oh, I've never produced anything for Fringe before. I'm a first-time Fringer," and then someone, it never fails. Someone's like, "Wait a minute, they produced something last year under a different name." So, and that's like amazing. And every year someone gets caught. Every year, without fail. So just don't even do it.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Every year, multiple people say, this is my first Fringe show. And like everyone you're seeing here on this panel sees dozens upon dozens of shows at the Fringe. And we know people at the Fringe. It will not take more than a day for us to find out if someone has done a Fringe show before. And I know sometimes people will get a little sneaky and they'll have someone who's definitely really done a lot of the Fringe, but they'll be a writer or they'll be the director or something of that nature. And be honest with it. Don't try to hide it, because trust me, if you try to hide it, that's going to be so much worse. If you be honest, like I said before, be honest. If there's something that you feel is a gray area, put a lantern on that and talk it out and why you feel like this should be okay. Maybe you had someone, maybe you acted in a play in the past, but you've never done anything with the actual production. That is totally fine. We have had scholarship winners who have been in that situation, but be honest about it. Don't let us find out that you've been trying to hide something, because that's going to be most likely disqualifying in and of itself. So just be open, be honest. Like Kevin said, tell us your story. Tell us everything. Tell us as much as you possibly can to sell this to us. Pretend that we are in like a cafe or a bar and we're asking you these questions, and we are ready to like put your show on. Pitch it to us. And I don't want to make it seem like it's a pitch room sort of thing, but I want you to put the effort into it. And so one of the biggest mistakes you can make, like Chris said, is, gosh, there's so many. Every year there's a play that has nothing to do with any perspective of anything that is an underrepresented group. It's just a diverse cast. And while I love plays like that, I think that there is a need for plays like that in a healthy theater ecosystem. That is not what the Fringe Scholarship is for. It does not need to be serious. It does not need to be a serious thing, but your intention of what you are doing, the process of what you are making, you need to be taking that seriously. If I can tell that you're not taking that part seriously, you don't take the scholarship committee's guidelines seriously, that's going to be a problem and most likely a rejection. So just keep that in mind when you're making this. Not so much the genre as it is your intention.
What I would say, I would add too, first is that this panel and the panel, the scholarship committee that's not here, they're all really smart. You can't game them, don't try. I did not know that. And then, I would say to kind of say what you're saying, Matthew, it doesn't have to be like, my shows are super social justice oriented. It doesn't have to be social justice oriented. One of our shows last year was about a bunch of Asian American people getting stranded in the Denver airport. And it wasn't like a social justice play, but it was these characters, and their experiences are that of Asian Americans, and it makes a difference in the show. Or Tree last year, it was a show that was a mime show where a woman dressed in a tree costume and drew pictures. It was interactive and fun. It wasn't a social justice piece. It was just a really good piece of theater. And she was an amazing artist. And it just, know that we're not looking for specifically, it has to be, hey, I'm saying something about our political nature. It could be about depression. It could be about why I love toast. If it has some sort of deep, rich, I'm going to use the word flavor to it, So yeah, thank you guys. Those were really great answers. And we've talked a little bit about what we don't want to see. So I don't want to spend too much time on that question. One, because we've already talked a little bit, and two, negativity doesn't necessarily help. But is there anything else that you guys are like, hey, we really don't want to see this? For instance, from our perspective at Fringe, we're really not looking for shows that are not from BIPOC and AAPI artists. It's just not what the program is funded for. It's not what our grant is for. And so the committee knows that, and that is what they're instructed to find. So is there anything that you're saying that you would say you don't want to see?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I guess a basis. It's just, we have integrity and we have what we're looking for, and we want people to authentically, if you think this is for you, please give us your application. And the whole point of us is that we'll feel like it fits, like sometimes, I wouldn't be able to, besides what we said about not being authentic and thinking that you're just going to try something to get money, like we're looking over these things. There's nothing else I can I wouldn't be able to isolate. I want to see it. I want to see whatever you think, you know, like this is your artistic mission. This is your integrity. And I'm a person that's going to like be able to experience it. I can't wait to experience it. We'll see.
There was
Yeah,
a show. Oh, go ahead, Les.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Natasha.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you. There was a show a couple of years ago called, I think it was called the Hollywood Minstrel Show, and it didn't win, it didn't even apply for a diversity scholarship, but it was very much a minstrel show. He was a dark-skinned Black man, kind of doing blackface, and I felt like that should have been a diversity show. I talked to him and I said, you know, why didn't you apply? And he didn't know about it. But when it comes to what we don't want to see, I hope no one feels that they can't apply if something seems like it's talking about race or anything that they're experiencing, but race specifically in a negative sort of light. And perhaps that's why he did not. It was very uncomfortable to watch the minstrel show. There weren't a lot of people there. It wasn't very well attended, but it felt like something that people needed to see, and it just didn't have the voice behind it. So I think that, hard shows are important. So if you feel that your show is hard and you're like, maybe this isn't something based on the fact that we've talked about, tree or movement shows or whatever it might be, hard shows are important. So when we say don't, just make sure that your don't doesn't mean that your show, if you feel that it's hard subject matter, doesn't fit into this category.
And to be honest, a lot of times for me personally, the ones that sound like they're going to be the hardest to watch are the ones that I pick first, because those are the stories that need to be told and that people need to see. So, yeah, if you think it's a hard subject matter, send it to us anyway, because that's what I'm looking for. And for me, I just want to reiterate again, the only thing that I really don't want to see is if you are not a person of color or any other people that we are looking for to give the scholarship to, just don't put, I'm going to have a Black person in it, or, you know what I mean? Like, just, be the criteria of the scholarship. That's what
I would add to that lesson than Matthew and Chris. If you are not in those groups, you know what the best thing that you can do to support BIPOC artists? Send this along. Post it on your Instagram. Post it on your stories. Because I think, Natasha, you said that the person who did minstrels didn't know about it. And the internet is a vast place and things do get lost. So helping us share this can allow so many artists who maybe aren't connected with the Hollywood Fringe access. So if you're applying, share it with people.
Yeah, it's and I would say, for me personally, this is just my personal taste. I typically do not care for shows that are solo shows about, I'm an actor of a particular disadvantaged background. This is my story about trying to become an actor. I've mentored a show that's like that was really good. So I'm not saying that I'm completely against that. I want to make sure that that's also clear. But typically we get a lot of shows like that, and there's just nothing in the description that makes it pop. For me, that's I know that you're supposed to write what you know, but that's a very thin motivation for me personally. I want, if you struggle with acting, this is your personal journey. Why did you want to become an actor? Why did you struggle so much? Tell me more than just, because now it sounds like you're just trying to get everyone together into a theater room to give basically a live demo reel of your acting. I don't want to see that. We have so many shows that have some really great ideas where people are pushing themselves, pushing ideas. Give me something, not necessarily that I've never seen before, but give me something that I would want to go see myself. Give me something that is you being a performer, telling a story that really needs to be told. Again, that's not saying that isn't a part of the story, I teared up listening to Michelle Yeoh recently talk about the role she was not able to get because she was an Asian American actress. So there is a place for that. But me personally, you got to bring the sauce if you're going to do something like that. And I would just say, just to be like before, be honest, be passionate. I want to see from you that you care about this and that you've really thought about this. This is not a fly-by-night thing. And keep in mind also, on a little side note, the shows that you're pitching, I know everyone likes to think it's a very unique idea. There's almost guaranteed someone has a show that's almost exactly like yours in the lineup. Obviously, I don't think there was anything like Tree in our last meeting, but keep that in mind. There's a very good chance that the idea that you are presenting is going to be put next to almost the exact same idea. And then we're going to have to decide which of these two do we give scholarship money to. So try to give yourself a leg up in terms of how you describe and detail your project out to us, your reader. Don't want to put a lot of pressure. Again, I don't want to discourage anyone. Just kind of what we kind of see coming across our desks.
I forgot to say one thing too. I'm so sorry. I do want to say one thing. I also don't want to see a non-BIPOC person apply for this scholarship because the story they're saying is about BIPOC history. So I don't want to see you tell the tale of the African goddess honey blobbity blue, and it's the just beautiful historical tale of this cultural goddess of a culture that you have nothing to do with. It's your one-woman show, and so it's a diverse show. It's like that's the opposite of the first thing I said, which is at the end of the day, just like casting some diverse people to like tell a different thing, which is different than the artist themselves, the creator, being a person telling a story that doesn't necessarily have to do with their culture. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the difference. It's like, we want to fund the artistic development and storytelling creator person. Okay, that is what we are developing here. It's not your cast and it's not the show. It's you. So you are the authentic winner, where it's your career, it's you we're funding. So that is what I want to see you, and I want to put money into your pocket because you deserve a little boost. Does that make sense?
That.
Yeah, no, I agree. Sorry about that little fiasco. My MacBook, or what is it called, my iMac was going off, and then it booted me, and it was really stressful. But we're back and ready to move on to the next part of our panel, which I think is just one of the most helpful parts, because we're going to just dive in to the questions on the application really quickly. And each of us, within about a paragraph or so, 2 to 3 sentences, kind of say, hey, what does this question mean to you and what are you looking for? Because some of them could be hard to be like, I don't know. So we're going to tell you. First question we have is, provide a description of the artistic production you plan to perform at the 2023 Hollywood Fringe Festival. Please include any noteworthy visuals. And if you're following along on Facebook or in Zoom, feel free to pull up the application now and follow along with us.
Yeah, I think when I see this question, again, I want to see the details. I want to see that you put thought into this. You don't have to get into all the minutia. You don't have to write, a peer-reviewed essay in that answer. But I want to see that you've thought this through. Think about it if you were going to any other theater venue or any other studio production house and you were giving them the idea. They are going to be investing time and resources into your project. Show them that you care about this and you've put the thought into it. As Natasha talked about earlier, we love links. We love links to videos, even if it's a concept or you're like, I want it to be a little bit like this, and you send us a clip of something that it is similar to. So please, don't be afraid, as Les said, don't be afraid to oversell, to send us more than we possibly need. That's totally fine. I have never been upset about getting too much information about the details of your production. And the more you can kind of translate your artistic vision to us of what this production will be, what the people of this production will be, and the cast and crew, the more we're gonna have a better idea of it. And the more idea we have of it, the more we can, when we get around and we start advocating for the plays that we want, the more that we know about the play, the more we can then work our magic to say, this play is going to be special because this is what they've been doing and this is what they're trying to do. And oh my gosh, I see what they're trying to go for. And I'm so excited about it. Make us excited about this project as you are, because ultimately, in a sense, we are becoming your advocates for this show.
And I want to say this too. So even if your show is in the infancy stage and you have details in your mind and you know that they're probably going to change, that's fine. Put the details down anyway, because and you can correct me if I'm wrong, as long as your subject matter stays the same, the details can change, because let's face it, as theater makers, our details are changing until the last minute, sometimes the night before anyway. So if you think that it might change, that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Perfect. And then our next question on the application is, provide a brief description of the theme or message you plan to convey through your production.
The why. We want to hear you be specific in the why, and don't make it a fragment. It's like, when we kept saying fill out this application, I could say this at the end of any one of these questions. Don't give me a fragment sentence. We want to, so yeah, that's the question. Working through, let's just Thaddeus, you're so lovely. Let's just say like you answered this, which I know you wouldn't. Working through poverty with a bunch of people, where it's like there's no that's what I don't know, it's like, why, what is it and why, and then give it the like moment of necessariness there, the necessity there, in the sense of speaking to a need that is being unaddressed for a theater audience, because they don't know this, because the landscape has changed, because it's a story that hasn't been heard in such a way. So that's what I would say.
I also would like to add on that what Chris just said, with how do you want your audience to feel? What do you want us to walk away with? I've walked out of a lot of shows like I don't understand and I'm not talking about diversity shows, just shows in general, even movies, but walked out and felt, I don't understand what that was supposed to make me feel, what I was supposed to walk away with. So think of your audience as well as part of the application. Where would you like them to fit into the story? Are you just trying to tell them a story? Like one person shows are, a whole entire array, or it could just be a slice of life of the person's experience, or an ensemble cast can be, making the audience walk away, laughing, crying, learning more about, what it's like to live in a different country, or, just what would you like the audience to think about? That will help us as the readers as well.
And sometimes, if it's your own idea, it might to you seem just kind of basic, but then when you put it on paper and explain it to us, we're very excited about it. Like I remember one year, and I believe we picked this application, and literally the person was, I'm African American, I'm in therapy, and I know that therapy is not stressed a lot in the African American community. Simple idea to that person, but to us, we were like, and especially being African American and knowing that is true, I just jumped on that because I'm like, oh my God, yes. So the idea may sound basic and simple to you, but to us, it is not.
Yes, absolutely. I want to really co-sign all of that. And the theme, it does not need, this is not a section where you need to give us a ton of details. We just need to feel that you have thought it through and that there's a clear message. A play that's well constructed, but no theme, message, or tone might be fun, but people might have forgotten it by the time they get to their car after the show. Even if a show maybe doesn't have all the stuff there, but it has a very clear intention, theme, and message, those shows can be remembered long after, even if they didn't nail everything else. So just keep that in mind. I also want to make sure, just to not cause any confusion, because I saw some people talking about in the chat, we have plays that have similar themes, messages, and approaches get scholarships together all the time. It's not an either or. I don't want to make it, I think my comments made it seem like, oh, if you two have two similar shows, then we'll only pick one. No, that is not true. There's many shows we've done many years where there's almost kind of been a trend where a lot of people are doing a very similar type of thing that they want to talk about, a very different subject they want to approach. But everyone, which is important to see in your scholarship, everyone has a unique story and approach to tell. There's never a one-for-one copy of each other. They might have similar experiences, but that's the human experience, and that's what we want to see on stage. So this theme question is a very good place for you to show, this is my approach. There can be two shows about, to go off of Les's example, there could be two shows about how African Americans need to take more therapy. One could be a comedy, one could be a musical, one could be a solo show. One might take a more male gendered perspective, the other might take a more female gender perspective, or maybe non-binary or queer perspective. All of those are valid. And we want to see that in the theme of how is this approach so important to your message. And that's going to really ring true to us, because someone in our panel will resonate, or it will interest them. And so just the honesty and forthright with that will really go far.
And I would just like to say, I'm watching the comments in the chat, and I just want to make sure that this is a place of support. The Fringe is a place of support, and really being there for other creatives. And I want to make sure that that is happening right now at this moment that we're talking about first-time Fringers being a part of the Diversity Scholarship. And again, I know that being a BIPOC person myself, BIPOC identifying, that it's really important that this Diversity Scholarship goes towards BIPOC individuals. I am also half Jewish, and I know that there is a place for Jewish individuals to talk about what's going on in the world with anti-Semitism and such, but I'm seeing some stuff in the chat room that is using tokenism, Black tokenism, as part of the theme, or using individuals, again, like Chris said, that are actors or people to be hired of the cast who are going to be tokenism. And that does not mean that this is a diversity scholarship play. Again, you should be a BIPOC producer, first-time Fringe BIPOC producer. And also it would be very helpful to be supportive of each other's work. Again, I just want to reiterate.
Thank you. Sweet. And I think one thing that Matt was saying about the theme, when I was the scholarship winner, there were 3 shows about being mixed, with like blaringly mixed titles, and we all became really good friends because we all had different things to say about the exact same topic, and it was a blast. So don't be discouraged if you feel like, oh, I'm not original. You are original, because nobody can do what you do like you do you. Okay, don't ever forget that. Let's see. The next question is, please define and provide a description of the primary characters in your production and the relationship to one another. So the reason that we have this question is to get to know your characters, because that's what makes a play unique, and also gives insight into what your play is actually going to be about. So could we talk a little bit about that question?
Yeah,
I would, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say is, yeah, I mean, like Kevin said, it's a pretty self-explanatory question. Obviously with solo shows, it's more about the character, and, solo shows maybe talk about the person performing to the audience. What is that relationship? Why are they telling the story? Or maybe you're doing multiple characters, but it's a solo performance. This is always a really fun section because you get to really give us a sense of the tone, the character plot lines that are going to be happening. So have fun with this section to really give us a sense of like, oh, okay, these are the kind of the characters we're going to be hanging out with. And this is going to be the script. This is a really good place to kind of give us tone as well. That's all I just want to say that.
And once again, if it's a situation where you write your script and realize you need to rewrite, and you told us that this character is going to be doing whatever, and you need to rewrite that and change it up, as long as the subject matter is what you told us it's going to be about, you have the freedom to do that as well. So don't feel that just because you put it on your application that you're married to that.
But don't do a 180 and then switch the entire thing.
Exactly.
Anyone else have any comments? I mean, it's a pretty self-explanatory question. We can move on if everyone feels like, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, okay, awesome.
Yeah, sorry, I've been answering people in the thing, so I love you
Yeah,
guys.
Chris, I've been watching you do that. You're like going above and beyond.
No, I know. So actually, I wasn't paying attention at all what you guys are saying, but I love you guys so much.
You're amazing. Our next question on the application is, please describe how your project's content and cast will contribute to the ethnic, cultural, racial, disability, capital D, deaf, and intersectional LGBTQIA+ diversity of the fringe community. That is such a mouthful, and we're trying to be very, very specific. And I just want to take a moment from fringes and on what this question is intended for. I mean, our grant is for a very specific purpose. It is to promote BIPOC work inside of our community, right? And adding disability, culture, and LGBTQIA+ is also very important. Recognizing that disability, sexuality, gender, those things are intersectional, right? And so if you are a BIPOC person that is LGBTQI+ or disabled, we want that application. But if you are a white person who is LGBTQI+ or disabled, you can please apply. It's not an automatic no, but once again, priority does go into our BIPOC artists. And so please keep that in mind. And I think that pretty much explains it, the question. I mean, we've been talking about this all day, is, don't tokenize. If you are not a BIPOC producer, then it's not necessarily the scholarship for you. Does anyone have anything else to add to that question?
So this is a very important question, because once again, I'll go into every year. So we as the scholarship committee, we're only given so many spots that we're allowed to fill. So there have been times where we're at the last spot, and this is the question that makes the decision for us. So really make sure that you take time and really answer this question, because it has made the difference before.
Yes, and answer, like I said all day today, answer honestly. Don't try to, spruce it up with some falsities or like half truths. If you're honest and straightforward and you talk about it, I will say, if this is a project where you are someone who is white and you are telling stories, but you have people on your producing team, whether that's your writer, your director, or someone else who is also who is BIPOC, make sure that is articulated and communicated to us, because there are certain shows where there's kind of a mix going on, and that's important to the perspective that your story is saying. That's not going to be a knock against you. Just be clear with it. We had one show that we did a couple of years ago where the writer and producer was someone who was Asian American, but the director was actually someone, I think, who was white. because she needed a director who could do some sort of fight choreography, and that was the guy. That's fine. That's just explain to us what's going on with the makeup of your show is, and be honest with it. Like I said before, the worst thing you can do is be dishonest or try to hide it, because once we find that out, that's going to make us look at your project very differently. Just be straightforward and understand that there's many shows that we say no to that are BIPOC, that are, you know, white, queer. There's so many shows we want to say yes to that we just can't say yes to. So I don't want the attitude going on. It's like, oh, well, you know, maybe my show wasn't such and such enough. Just be honest with us and present your best foot forward, and be honest with what the makeup of your casting crew is. There's so many different factors that could go into why a show gets picked and why it doesn't. And it has nothing to say about the quality of your show or who you are as a person, or any sort of favoritism to one person or one type of story. There's so many factors going into it. Just be honest and bring it forward.
Yeah. An example of this is the show that I mentored last year was written and created by a Turkish American. And the story was about a Turkish American character who pretended that he was gay and married a white person to get citizenship. And so, you know, one of the main characters was white. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. So don't think that that's going to stop you from being considered, you know?
Yeah, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not okay. So the thing, not everything has to hit it on. We're not like looking for you to hit every weird checkpoint of like, well, we have a Black director, we have an Asian American actress. Don't worry, we have a Latin ex, stage manager. We have gay dresser. I don't need you to like go down some weird list. It's this. Again, we are funding the storytelling and artistic development of BIPOC people in order to enrich the experience of the Fringe for both the audience as well as the community. That's it. We don't need you to tell us it's not everything has to be. I don't need you to tell me about an Asian thing if you're Asian. I want you who has an authentic experience, who might have been raised not seeing representations of full families and people in media circumstances. Or if you did, it was incredibly insular, incredibly small, incredibly stereotypical. I want you to grow that individual. So I know it sounds like we're saying BIPOC, and I know that can be not very specific. It's Black, Indigenous, people of color. It's people who have been oppressed and marginalized, who have not seen themselves in the way that we have traditionally seen Caucasian and white representation in theater and or television. It's that. So, or gay, because you didn't see that either. It's whatever. It's like it's being able to tell a story that is not seen, or at least the representation of someone. So it's one of those things, let's just say this. If it was a one-woman show of a Black lady spending money in Chanel, I would love that. Let's just say it has maybe nothing to do. And I'm just going to say this, superficial maybe, it has nothing to do with speaking to Black American culture. It's just a Black lady talking about being superficially fabby-fucking-less. I think I would probably be very into it if it was done in an artistic way, theatrically. You know what I'm saying? I can't just be about her. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because it's something that I would love to see. It's not really about her struggle, unless it can somehow subversively be about that. How hot. By the way, can you do that show for me? Okay, thanks. I don't mean to be so extreme about it, but I'm trying to illustrate a point, which is, I don't need you to freak out about every situation being something. I want you to authentically be like, yeah, I get the scholarship program because I didn't see that, and I have a story to tell, and I know that you guys might be interested in it.
Yeah. Thank you. I love that. That clarification of like, again, we're not looking for ripping your heart, like go buy a Chanel bag. And that's a really good what do you call it? Clarification about what we're talking about here and what we're really looking for. Just authenticity. Be yourself, show up, and be amazing. The next question that we have is, we are drilling this through the heads this year. I do apologize, but actually I don't apologize at all. The Hollywood Fringe Scholarship Program is meant for first-time Hollywood Fringe production teams as an introduction to the festival and to benefit the BIPOC and AAPI community. Productions are expected to change, are not expected, and this kind of goes off of what Chris was just saying. Productions are not expected to change the structure or fabric of LA theater, but rather add to the equitable representation that LA's theater has to offer. How is your cast and crew going to reflect the intention of your application? And then I'm gonna be gone for 1 second. Matthew is in charge and I'll be right back.
Well, I think this goes back a little bit to, what we don't want to see is a laundry list of, okay, the main character is white, the ancillary character is this. We don't want, the laundry list doesn't help. And to speak on Chris's point about the Chanel bag shopping and authenticity of someone's story is basically, the way that I think of it in my head is a show that I was on. I stopped putting in the race. You would say the person's name, you would say their age, but I stopped putting in race just to see who would start casting these roles. And the default was always white. And it was like, well, why can't this person, why can't the doctor, why does the doctor have to be the default white? Well, do I have to put black in there? And it was a general conversation that we had in the room to talk about, we don't want to put race as these descriptors. So when you're thinking about your own story, when you're thinking about your own application, it doesn't have to be, okay, these are the race of all of the characters. It's about the story. So again, the Chanel bag, why can't the woman who's going shopping and talking about how fabulous her life is be any sort of, diverse voice? How is that going to tell your story better? How is that going to move your story into a diverse space? Something that we don't see on television, that's something that we don't see in theater and film as much as we should, considering that especially Los Angeles is such a diverse city. So it's just something to take into account, is the diversity of your cast, not a breakdown, but what is the diversity adding to for the audience, for the Fringe, for your story? But you don't have to, not everything has to rely upon race. I hope that helps.
Yeah, and I would just add to that, like I said before, just make sure that whatever you do, and what Chris has said, it's not something where you are trying to make a list of your cast to impress us. There are so many shows with different levels of diversity, ratio, numbers. It all depends on the context, the story that you're trying to tell, and why you're trying to tell this story. If you're authentic with it, that being authentic with what your cast is will always read better. And it's going to be exciting because there's so many different ways that a story can come together and give us something that's like, whoa, this is really neat. Anyone else have any notes on that?
I would just say, I think a theme we're all kind of coming to here is don't try and impress the scholarship committee with your list. You're not here to impress us. You're here to tell us who you are. And the more authentic you can be, the stronger that the intention behind your show is going to shine through. And that's what's going to grab the audience. So in fact, I would say we don't need a list of we're going to have an Asian actor and a Black actor or this actor, or we're open to casting anybody. That information, one sentence, hey, we are looking to cast a diverse show. And this is what we think that will do when we make the show based within the parameters of the story that we're telling. The cast is going to have this effect on that story, not just we're going to do it. right? So tell us why the story matters to you and what you intend to do with it. And then our next question is one of my favorite questions. And for me, it was the hardest question. What works have inspired you as a theater artist? Please list 1 to 3 examples and how they have affected your practice. I'm pretty sure I said Dr. Seuss. I didn't, but
This is our way of getting to know you. Sorry, this is our way of getting to know you. This is a non-work question to try and, like, this is the question I could ask you if we went to, if we were at Black, what's the, oh God, the bar, at a bar. Okay, if we were at a bar and we're having a glass of wine, you told me you were in the theater, and I'm like, okay, well, what do you like? And we would talk, right? But I can't have that moment with you. But I want to know who you are as a theater artist, because we all have something in common, right? We all take in certain media and stuff, and we're a little nerdy, perhaps, right? Because we're all deciding to like spend the summer together doing this weird ass thing. So I want to know you a little bit. Not that you have to tell me Chekhov, but what if you tell me this weird anime thing that you liked or whatever that like sparked to a visual thing that you started. I don't know, you can tell me something that is so specific that I get to know you more, because my theme again of this is that I want to fund you. Like, I feel like your mind and your artistry, your craft is what I want to be connected to. So I trust you / your vision / the project specifically that you will create.
Yeah, and I agree with Chris. This helps us to get to know you, because there's been, a few applications, and the person put who influenced, and I was like, oh wow, that sounds so interesting. I want to get to know this person more and read their application again. So yeah, do you, what's the saying? Do you, boo? It's like, who, whoever you like, put them down.
Yeah, I would say it's more like comparables of who you are, not just your show. So if your show is like something, that's great, but what inspires you? If you had 3 things that you could say, if someone was like, oh, this is a totally Natasha thing, Keith Haring would be a big thing for me, or Spike Lee would be a big thing for me, that people would know, especially just walking in my house. They would just know, they could see those things, but not so much my play. My play wasn't, Keith Haring or Spike Lee. So it's comparables for who you are.
amazing. Cool. And then that is really all of the questions on the application that encompass like a larger answer that we're looking for. And any of them, some of them are similar, and any ones that weren't mentioned are related to these in some capacity. But just, I think the panel here is saying, be yourself, be authentic. That's what we're looking for, honest storytelling. And we are getting right on the edge to do our Q&A. And I really want to give us ample time for that. If we have one moment, I'd love to quickly get our thoughts on the mentorship part of the program, and just talk a little bit about the sort of celebration that happens around the scholarship program. Because, I mean, the scholarship programs, it sells out, like we said, and the mentorship program really adds that extra layer of benefit that I'd like to discuss.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm doing a show, I'm excited to mentor someone, because typically we're working with people who are inexperienced with any sort of theater production. Maybe they've been in a few theater plays, but like I said, part of the requirements for this is that you have never put on a play at the Fringe before. There's some people who have put on some plays outside of it, and they come with that kind of knowledge. But typically we're working with people who are very new to this. And it's exciting. It's exciting to help them put that on. It's exciting to meet with them, because we meet with you once a week, and sometimes more. And you form a relationship, and you form a bond as they go from the script and the rehearsals to getting their show on stage. And it's very exciting to see them become part of the Fringe community, get to start to know people, and to really have that excitement of being part of LA theater community. We get a lot of flack from people outside of LA and even people from in the city that LA doesn't really have a theater community. And I don't think that's a true statement. We do have a theater community. And I think, to be honest, I think one of the strongest ones is the Hollywood Fringe. Many of the people that I've become very good friends with, I met during the Fringe. It's one of the best decisions I've made in my adult life. And so getting to help someone bring that to life in such a supportive and creative atmosphere is fun. And so I'm so excited that everyone came here today and was talking about it. I just want to say it really means a lot to you taking the time to come in and speaking with us, listening to us talk, because we want you as a part of this community because it only makes us stronger.
And
oh, go ahead, Les.
no, go ahead.
Last time, you go ahead.
Oh no. Okay. Well, it just part of being a mentor is Fringe is a beast on its own. I do literally do fringes around the world, and every single fringe is different. No two fringes are the same, and so sometimes it could be a little hard to navigate. And so that's why we're here to help you navigate. And like Kevin mentioned earlier, so he was my mentee. Sometimes it would just be a phone call. Hey, I'm nervous. Seriously. And we're here to put you at ease, and we're here to help you out. And as a mentor, there's nothing that warms my heart more than going to a show of someone who I've mentored and then have the show be good on top of that. That's honestly like the best feeling ever to watch that happen.
That's so true. So also along with the mentorship is, really use the mentor. I mentored someone once, and she didn't use me at all. And I kept trying to call, and I kept trying to set up dates with her. And her show, I'm not going to say it's all me. I'm just saying it's a mentor. A mentor has been there and done that. My mentor was so fantastic. She was a super fringe veteran, like Les, like Chris, like Matt. She really walked me through, kind of held my hand. I was very nervous. If I didn't have her, I really would have been lost without her. She went to the events with me. I got to meet people. She broke a lot of my anxiety, my hearing issues, especially in loud places, and really, helped me figure out how to do everything step by step to get organized. It's very overwhelming. You're just kind of thrown into it. You've got to get not only so your venue's taken care of, but then you start to think about your flyers. Flyers are a huge part of the Fringe. And then when do you have to have those done? And going through all of the, going through to all the events and getting everything, in schedule. So you're ready, because it'll move so fast because you have your whole life going on besides Fringe. So really use your mentor, really lean on them. They are there for you. We all obviously love it because we've been doing it for so many years. Obviously, many of them have gone on to win awards, which we're really proud of. And if you can see right behind Matthew's head, just to brag on Matthew, he's got his Fringe Award right there. That little blue guy right there is Matt's award. So, I mean, these people, Les, Chris, and Matthew, particularly, they have been around. They are winners. Obviously, Les is touring the world doing this. Matt is constantly working, and Chris is one of the funniest and smartest people when it comes to Fringe and anything that you could need Fringe-wise. So I highly recommend, and Kevin obviously as well, I highly recommend leaning on us, asking us questions, but your mentor wants to be there for you. Utilize them.
Word. My favorite conversation I ever had with Les was outside of a Starbucks. And I was just mad at everything. I was scared and frustrated. And he was like, chill, like, it's going to be fine. You're worrying too much. None of it matters. And I was like, you're right. And that, just having that person to bounce off of was fantastic. Now we're going to move into questions. So what that means, if you have questions, please put them into the chat. And if you had questions that you asked before that maybe didn't get answered, feel free to put them fresh up so that we can kind of keep it in order. If you're on Facebook, you can also put your questions in the comments there, and we will have somebody monitoring it to respond. I did see one question already that I do want to address. It was asked, is this only for new plays? The answer is no, it's not only for new plays. You could do an August Wilson play if you want to, or, you know, I don't know, The Wizard of Oz, so long as what you're doing fits within the criteria. But no, you know, if you are doing a play that's already been written and is published, you do have to get your royalties and rights to do the play in the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And if you don't get them, then the show, you know, you're liable for the rights and stuff. It's not covered by the scholarship. So questions, let's see. Do we have any in the chat on Facebook? Or am I missing something?
There's one by Roxana. Would you like us to include recordings of songs from musicals we pitch?
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Any kind of links that you have, anything that will help us understand you or the project. If you do not have these things and you're just going to record them on your phone, it's still quite interesting. But don't rush yourself to just put things of this play. You can also, ooh, Chris, you look cute. You can also add things that you have done previously, so we can see what kind of work you put out there. We can see a little bit about you. Anything that helps us learn about who you are.
Can I say something to that? Okay, first of all, I got really hot, okay, because like the sun's on my back, and so that sweater just like was baking me. I was like so hot. Second thing is, if you are a one-person show, there have been times when we were like, oh, God, I mean, like it's very hard to see like what person will be like. We've looked at like kind of just thrown together stand-up clips from people on YouTube. You would be surprised what we can glimmer from something that you have that shows us either your presence, your voice, your POV. Just, I mean, yeah, just you give us more than you think. So definitely the songs, if you have them, the artwork, I mean, a Pinterest board of things that you feel that you can give us anything that you feel would make us invested in the possibility of your show.
I see a question from Jonathan. I'm not sure how to say that name. It says self-written monologues and tapes count too. Sure, if you want to record a monologue from your show that encompasses what the show is, never seen it, that'd be dope. I love self-tapes. And I know we all are artists, so they love it as well. I see y'all are badass from Facebook. Any tips for writing process pre or post scholarship application?
Yeah, I would say with writing, write as much as you can before you submit for the application. And when you are done with post-production, post-application process, continue writing. As Ellen pointed out before, we start registering people with the Fringe in February, and then you have until April 1st to be registered. So you have about a 2-month period of time to figure out. I want to say this on a personal note, this affects nothing necessarily with the application process. It's just my 2 cents. Try to write as much as you can well into advance. Good shows typically start their rehearsal process and casting process in April, not May. A lot of shows get started late May, and then you see the show in June, and you can tell that they have not, that script was not finished for the stage until the end of May. The more time you give yourself, the better your show is typically going to be. So that's not always the rule, but I think it's good advice to follow.
Thank you, Matt. Anyone else want to touch on the writing process? I'd say myself, I mean, I know I've met artists that, I mean, you're right in as far in advance as you possibly can, but they'll open their show to preview and then they'll go back and be like, this scene didn't work, and they'll go back and edit it. I did that with my own show. I have friends that have done that with their shows. So Fringe is a really great place to do that. And then for the, I see another question in here. When will we know if we got the scholarship or not? You'll receive a notification whether or not you received an award on about the middle of February. So usually when we'll set out, at the latest, could be earlier, but you'll know by mid-February, which will let you have time. If you don't get a scholarship, we still encourage you to apply. There are other funding opportunities. Actually, one of them is the Artist Application Fund. Ellen, is that right? Give me a thumbs up.
The Artist Fund applications, those will be available in early May for anyone who is already registered, who is a low income identifying Angelino, to receive some reimbursement for costs that they've spent on the Fringe up to $500. So that will be, we're fundraising for that program right now through our membership program. And then that will be available in May. We also have a couple other opportunities that will be coming up in the spring, but it's just kind of one-offs that we then promote. But those are the two Fringe Run programs.
Yeah, thank you. That's Ellen, our co-festival director. She's amazing. Yeah, so check out the opportunities that exist beyond it, but go here, get the apply for the scholarship, because we want our biggest love would be if we got like 200 scholarships, be world renowned.
May I also add just really quick there. Also, if you need to find outside means, I've seen people do GoFundMe's, which I would recommend. Problem with doing something like Kickstarter or Seed and Spark is that you then have to give people rewards for that. GoFundMe is a donation, so you don't have to give them anything in return other than your thanks. You don't want to give something a reward if you're struggling already to put the production on. Just keep in mind when you do something like a GoFundMe, you're asking people essentially to pay for your play twice, once to help you get off the ground and then again to come see your show. So keep that in mind with how much you ask for and how you determine that. I'll leave that to your discretion. But I have seen some plays that needed a little extra money. Use that to fill the gaps.
Throw the questions in. We're here for another 15 minutes and we have a wealth of knowledge.
There's a question about if we use short snippets, 5 seconds of popular music, do we need licensing? As far as I know, no, not for the Fringe itself, but if you move from off Fringe and go anywhere else, off Broadway to another play or another theater, you will need to license music. But for Fringe, I do not believe that is the case.
Now, I gotta say though, I've done some Fringes where there were shows that got cease and desists. So I would just say really do your research, because I've seen a couple of shows that ended up having to close because they got cease and desist for using unlicensed music. So just really make sure you do your research.
Yeah, I think, I would also add, just be cautious, and when in doubt, don't use licensed music unless you have permission, because it's a gamble. You never know what's going to happen. I used The Lion King in my show and I ended up removing it because I was like, I just don't want to have the off chance that somebody working at Disney sees my show and then comes after me. It's not worth it. And there's so many amazing, go on YouTube, there's licensed free music. I go to a place called Artlist.io. Do some research. It's there. You can find it out there. I'm seeing how our mentor is assigned. This is my job, and it's my favorite part of the job, is assigning mentors. We choose somebody who has similar identification, like identities as the applicant or the winner, actually, or winner now, if you're getting assigned a mentor. Somebody who has experience in the genre that you're doing. For instance, I'm a gay mixed Black man. They gave me Les, who's a solo artist as me, and he's a solo artist who tours Fringe and is Black and gay. And so he was the perfect person for me. And that's how we choose our people, based off of how they're going to mix in with you, and are you guys going to get along, right? Because we'll meet you before we assign your mentor anyway, and so I get to know your personality and be like, yeah, Matt, you're the person for Tarugo.
Yeah, also, I saw there was a question earlier asking, can we apply with a staged reading? I don't believe there's any rule against that. I would just say, very much explain why this is a stage reading and not a full production. Just keep in mind, we have very limited scholarship money. For me, when I read a stage reading, my first thought is, oh, well, this doesn't sound like a very expensive play to put on. Why do you need the scholarship money for that? So just make sure you explain why this is a stage reading and not a full production in a way that still sells us on this is worthy of being at the Fringe.
Yeah, that's David Crawford. You asked a couple of things. I also want to say, so if you are doing a full ensemble musical, then yes, 2 hours or whatever, an hour 45 with an intermission. I've seen it at Fringe. If you are doing a one-person show, it really behooves you to be 45 minutes to 50 minutes because the slots at most theaters are going to give you an hour and you need time to like get in or whatever. I'm not quite sure, but that's why it's important. Plus, if you're going to tour, it just fits nicely. So it depends on the type of show you have and the content, the size of cast for how large it would be. Now, when it comes to staged readings, that's great. Do that now. Work on that now and then put up a production of some kind at Fringe. And by that, I mean, your actors could be off book. If you're making people pay to come see it over multiple times, I think your actors should be off book. That's what, nerdy of me or elitist of me? Maybe, but I'm also sitting on this panel. So my personal opinion is I probably wouldn't give money for a stage reading. Seems like you're workshopping it. And a workshop, it's not that I want you to think that the show won't evolve from your Fringe production, but you're going to have limitations in your tech abilities and stuff. So my personal opinion is give yourself the go of at least doing a minimized production as well as you can, which means, memorized actors and stuff. That seems right to me. This is a personal opinion.
Thank you. I see another question here. It says, if we do a dance theater piece, how much of the writing should be description of the dance content or verbal scenes?
I think with dance or any kind of movement, it's about the feeling. I don't think you need to choreograph it on the page. But if you do have any kind of videos, again, if you do have any kind of storyboarding elements, but again, it's about the feeling of what the dance is supposed to interpret. It's what we're supposed to impart from the movement. But you don't have to, turns and faces the audience and, go into all of that, unless you find it absolutely necessary. If there's a part of blocking where it's important that the people are turned away from the audience for a certain amount of time, or it's important. We had a piece a couple years ago that was, it was all blocking. It wasn't really a whole lot of movement. It was movement, but it was all blocking, turning this way. And so there, I feel like it would be necessary to say where a person's body positioning is. They'll be turned away, they'll be facing. But again, any kind of storyboarding, video, description, but you don't need to go through each single 1, 2, 3, 4 beat.
Yeah, and I see that David has a follow-up question, but it's also, I want to clarify, with this Fringe Scholarship venue, your show has to be 60 minutes or less, because in order for us to honor the agreement with them to give you slots in this production, it has to be 60 minutes or less. So you could do a 30-minute play, 45, it doesn't matter. I've never seen a 15-minute play at Fringe unless it was like an interactive show. They've kind of done like 15-minute blocks technically, but there have been plenty of scholarship shows that have been 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, but for just particularly with the new parameters of our production this year, it needs to be no longer than 60 minutes. And honestly, I give yourself a little cushion and try to make sure your play is about no more than like 55, 57 minutes, because late seating, and they will turn the lights off on you if you go over. I've seen it happen. I've been in a show that they just turned everything off, and that was it. You just didn't get to see the ending of the play because they went so over. There's other plays behind you that need to get ready. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I see a question from Thaddeus that says, does a 1.5-hour play disqualify you? The answer is no, because you can shorten it and do it, right? If you're saying, hey, my show is going to be 1.5 hours, the answer becomes no on the application, but that doesn't mean that you can't do a show at Fringe and apply for the scholarship. It's just about modifying for the platform that you're on.
And let me tell you this, there is nothing, like once Fringe starts, there is nothing that will kill your show more than to have your show go over by a lot. Because I think Chris mentioned the shows are scheduled, you know, there's a schedule. And a lot of people are running from show to show. And if your show goes over 10 minutes, 15 minutes over and causes someone to miss their next show, word gets out and people get pissed, like extremely pissed.
I see another question here that says, my show would be really interactive. I might even invite some people to the stage. Can I do that? Or are there any rules regarding this? You can do whatever you want. But
Well,
can we talk about rules real quick? Let's talk
I mean, I
about
wouldn't touch people. Consent. I mean, yeah, but yes, you of course, you know, it's interactive theater, and like, you know, there's shows that are like one person dates. You know, I'm referencing a certain show like Lauren Flance's show where you can go on a date with someone, you know, but I'm sure there's certain elements where you don't touch people and such.
yeah.
And last year, what was Ramon, the Ramon show? I mean, that was so interactive, and they got everyone up dancing and moving, and it was very energizing, and that was super unexpected. I mean, we knew because we had read the script, we had read the application process, but yeah, there are no rules except that the rules that you would imagine is no just touching people without consent and, you know, being a dick.
Yeah, be a good person and read the code of conduct. We also have an immersive 101 workshop on how to do immersive safely, and that's really, really important to attend if you're doing an immersive show, you know, because we want to make sure everyone feels comfortable. I also see a Facebook message on live. You know what I'm trying to say here. Any tips on doing a show about current events? Can y'all provide any examples that stood out? Oh my God, abortion weekend. That's it.
And the funny thing about abortion weekend was, sorry to cut you off, was they hadn't even made the ruling that they had struck down Roe v. Wade when the applications had come in. So, I mean, obviously the country was heading that way, but when they premiered, maybe Kevin can speak more on this, when they premiered and at Fringe this past year, it was way topical.
Yeah, then they just got done with New York. They ended up getting that extension program thing. It was so cool. The show was phenomenal. Do it. And, you know, I say, speak from your heart. What do you have to say? There's no wrong way to do it, and be honest. And, you know, there's so many different approaches. It's what you feel like is good for you. You can do a drama. I do a lot of not parody, but like satire on current events when I do my productions, not at the festival, because I don't do shows at the Hollywood Fringe. Yeah, that's a really good question. Anyone else have something to unpack on that? We have time for about 1 to 2 more questions. So if you have something that's burning, if I don't see something.
I saw a question earlier. If you have already locked down the venue and time slots, do you get reimbursed for the scholarship if you're awarded? I actually don't know the answer to that, but I wanted to know if anyone knew the answer to that.
I'll bring Ellen in on that, but I believe that you don't. It has to be at our venue.
Yeah. Just for this year, because we've changed the program parameters. So to give a little bit of like a history, which might be helpful for everybody wondering, why did we change it up? It used to not really cover, it used to be a $500 stipend for the scholarship winners. And that didn't really cover a lot of your fringe expenses. And so we instead partnered with the venue, 905 Cole, who is also giving us, we're giving the grant money that we would typically give to artists directly to the venue so that they can discount that rate and you get the full 3 shows plus that hour and a half tech with no cost. Like, you will be able to walk in, you could do your show. If you can do an hour and a half tech time, you don't have to pay for anything else if you do everything else volunteer. And that way that your ticket sales can actually go into your pocket and it becomes a true award. So that's why for this year, that is actually a change. You do have to perform within this one venue space, which is a bummer, but financially is going to make it a lot stronger for our artists. And so we had to make that artistic choice for your financial.
Yeah, and I would say it's not even a bummer because I mean you get all of the scholarship shows in one place. The scholarship shows are popular, they sell out, they get attention. the scholarship show venue is also Fringe Central. And if you've never done Fringe Central, I mean, sorry, if you've never done the Hollywood Fringe before, Fringe Central is like the spot to go and hang out. There, we have a bar there. We have events and workshops there during the festival. Like it's the congregation watering hole of Fringe, and so it's such a great opportunity. I could not be more excited, and I'm super jealous that we didn't do this in 2021, Ellen.
And the fact that you are actually going to get to keep the money, like, so basically you're keeping 100% of your ticket sales. So the fact that you are actually, you could stand to make a profit is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
I also want to say, this has gotten me in trouble in past years, but I'll say there are many different ways to get people to come see your show. But one thing that works in your favor, two things that work in your favor are the running time and the venue locale. Because people who you don't know are Fringe freaks who will go down the guide and be like, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good, but where can I get from this to that? And what can I see in between this hour and that? So between those people, getting those people to see your shows, and by the way, they're the talkers. They're the ones that are going to go say word of mouth style. Those people want it to be close and they want it to be under an hour. They want to get from one show to a next. So the venue where this is going to be is the best possibility for you. And this is someone who did Fringe year one at a venue that wasn't walkable from Fringe Central.
Mhm.
Not saying that if your venue later on down the road isn't close, that you luck out, because all I'm saying is you might have to do more work from your own community and pool and your cast to get people to show up. Whereas shows that are with under an hour and shows that are near Fringe Central get the benefit of being accessible and attractive to the freak Fringe goer.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. This is our time. I wish if I could, I would talk about this. Is there a red carpet pre-show? Actually, we will have a red carpet at some events during the festival. So you can bet your bottom dollar. We have a runner. It's amazing. But I could talk about this all day long, but unfortunately we have to leave. So thank you all so much. Give a big round of applause for our panelists inside of your rooms. And thank you. I would just say go online. Our applications are open. They are going to close January 14th at midnight. So if you have not put it in your calendars that is when it closes, put it in your calendar, set a reminder. You want to get into this opportunity. Office hours are happy holidays. We're taking a break until January. Office hours, our first one is going to be the 11th. And then we have our first town hall. This is the 11th of January. And our first town hall is the 28th of January. So stay here, stay invested. You can reach us at support@hollywoodfringe.org and Kevin@hollywoodfringe.org as well. Start getting those applications written now. I don't think anybody ever said this, but I will say the easiest way to do your application is create a Google Doc or a Word doc, type up the answers separately, and then copy and paste them into the field so that you can work on them over time. Okay, so everybody have a great day. Thank you. Hit the music.